All right, welcome to Three Up, Three Down. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Chris. Normally I'd be with the other Chris, but he's stuck in traffic right now. So we're gonna do this without him. Gonna be a little light on graphics this evening, so forgive me. Let's go ahead and just dive right into it, man. We got some spots tonight that are pretty favorable park factors, but for the offense. Spots like Fenway Park, Cincinnati, and uh, the Red Sox. We got Steinbrenner Field, where the Rays and the Athletics are going to be squaring off. So both those two spots definitely look really good for offense. The only problem there is in Fenway, we got 80-degree temps, 10, 15-mile-an-hour wind blowing out, but we got threat of rain. So that's important because if that game is delayed, they'll probably play through it, but there is a slight postponement risk here. So, yeah, that's big because a lot of the value tonight comes from that game. So we've got the Red Sox and Reds, a good spot for offense. We've got the Astros in a good spot for offense. We've got the Dodgers looking good in a good spot for offense. Sorry, I'm looking at comments here. Okay. We've got we got the Dodgers in a good spot for offense. We've got the Rays and Athletics. That game, look, 80-degree temps, 15-mile-an-hour blowing out. That ballpark has played noticeably different when the wind's blowing out like that. So that's another good spot for offense. Just keep an eye on this rain as we get into these games with higher temps and lower air pressure. That's when you start to see a lot more favorable conditions for offense, but that brings the weather too. So just keep an eye out all the way up to lock. So normally the format of the show is going to be Chris and I will give our favorite three plays at each position, and then our least favorite. Well, I'm just going to try to breeze through this since we're running a little late and try to go through just my favorite at each spot here. At pitcher, Yamamoto looks like he's in the best spot. Holmes in a good spot too. I would say my favorite three here, though, are going to be. Oh, thanks for the comment. Thanks, Josh. I think Boyd going against the Guardians tonight. I like the upside there, safe floor. On DraftKings, he's a good value. Yamamoto, obviously high upside. Holmes, high upside. Those are probably my three favorite. I'm a little suspicious sometimes about playing the pitcher and stacking the offense, so that might keep me off Holmes a little bit. But yeah, those are going to be my favorite three spots. I think Yamamoto, Holmes, and Boyd. Yeah, I think that maybe on DraftKings where you need to roster two pitchers, maybe we look at Colton Gordon down there at $7,000. Similar upside, not quite as safe a floor as Jake DeGrom, but he's got in this matchup a similar upside, I think. So, so let's expand the list a little bit. Yamamoto, Holmes, Boyd, and then Colton Gordon, especially on DraftKings. We probably don't need to play him on FanDuel. He's unnecessary. I would think Yamamoto, DeGrom, Holmes, those are your FanDuel guys. All right, so let's go to batters here. Start a catcher. Sorry, my screen's taking a minute to load. I wish y'all could see it. All right, so top three at catcher tonight. Yeah, I had a few different names written down earlier today, but as the projections have refreshed throughout the day, I think I'm still pretty high on Narvaez, Red Sox catcher. Just tremendous upside in this matchup. Like I said, 10 to 15 mile an hour wind blowing out at Fenway. If that game stays dry for the most part, I think Narvaez is in a great spot. Probably outside of that, the other two, I like Yandy Diaz. I think you're going to see me go to Houston, Boston, Cincinnati, LA a lot tonight. LA, maybe not so much. The prices on these guys is just so high. So Yandy Diaz, Carlos Narvaez, and probably on DK, I think I like Will Smith. He's just so pricey. It's hard to pay $4,800 for the catcher position on DK. Honestly, I think as long as the game stays dry, Carlos Narvaez has as much upside as Will Smith or Yandy Diaz. That's going to be a guy that I'm super heavy on for tonight's slate. And with these picks, I should have said this to begin the show. With these picks, if you're playing 150 lineups in mass multi-entering, you can make a case for everybody. But these are guys that we might consider cash game viable, single entry viable, just guys with safer floors and good upside combination there. So those are guys that even if you're playing mass entry 150 max, you can still sprinkle these guys in as your one-offs. I would think these would be your everyone else. Maybe I'm leaving stack to chain to a stack. These guys I'm leaving off, and they could sprinkle throughout my lineups. So that's how I play that. These are your safe floor upside combo guys. A little safer plays, traditionally cash or single entry viable. All right, let's go over to first base here. On DK, Ohtani's got first base eligibility. He's $6,500. Obviously, he's probably the best play on the slate, just raw projection wise. But you're paying almost as much as you're paying for starting pitching. So I think his price is pretty prohibitive. If you're playing Dodger stacks, you got to probably find a way to get him in. And a lot of people are probably going to stay off of him. So if you're MME 20 to 150 lineups, I think the price is going to keep the ownership suppressed on Ohtani quite a bit. Maybe you find a way to jam him in there in your Dodger stacks. He's not one of my three favorite first basemen at Target tonight. I think Spencer Steer, Pavin Smith, Arizona. Steer, Smith, and then, again, going back to that Red Sox game, probably Abraham Toro. I think he's got a very safe floor. Not the upside of Shohei Ohtani, obviously, but I think he's got about similar floor in this matchup. So at $2,900 on DK, you get somebody like Toro that can actually help you fill the lineup out with some bigger names like perhaps Ohtani as your outfield spot. So let's say Spencer Steer, Abraham Toro, and Smith, Pavin Smith, Arizona. Just the discount you can get on those guys from names like Freeman and Ohtani. Matt Olson, I'll throw Matt Olson in there too. Matt Olson's a guy that I think I'd be pretty heavy on tonight. That Braves game is another positive spot for offense. So we could put him in the list. On FanDuel, same names really. Look at second base here. Again, this is the recurring theme. Red Sox. There's just a lot of discount bats we can fill out our lineup with in this game. Matt McLain, to me, out of all the second basemen, I'm putting him ahead of even raw point projection ahead of Ketel Marte, Jose Altuve. I think McLain's in a good spot, and he's $2,000 cheaper than Marte. So I'd start there. We could play David Hamilton. He's batting eighth in that lineup. I don't usually love dipping that low for a guy I'm going to sprinkle throughout my lineups, but the flip side to that is if that game stays dry, the Red Sox are projected to score a lot of runs. So Hamilton being at the bottom of that lineup, he'll have a lot of opportunity to drive runs in, and even as the lineup turns over, score some runs himself. So David Hamilton's probably a guy I'll look at. I don't think he's not got the same floor as somebody like Matt McLain or even Curtis Mead, but and you got Jonathan India down there too. So I think we can save salary at second base. I mean, you look at, again, McLain, Hamilton, let's say Mead, Tampa Bay second baseman down there, $2,600. Not the floor, again, that McLain has, but I think if you look at it, save a few dollars, you could do worse. And I'd put Hamilton in that same range as well. It's tough with the weather doing what it looks like. There's a very real possibility that game gets postponed in Boston. So I'd keep an eye on that and look at these Tampa Bay bats for if you need salary relief. Third base, again, we're looking Houston, Cincinnati. Isaac Paredes, 9.7 points were projected him for. That would be the highest projection at third base tonight. Colorado is dry and warm tonight, so it's going to play a lot like its usual self. The Astros, I think, have the highest implied run total on the board. So, yeah, Paredes is a good – that'd be my favorite third baseman. Behind him, Gavin Lux, $3,200 on DraftKings. It's just hard to pass up the salary relief there. But Lux is outfield eligible, so you don't have to go there at third base. Abraham Toro, again, you could play him down here. Yeah, that's kind of it. I think Paredes, Lux, and Toro, probably my three favorite at third base. All right, moving over to shortstop. I think that it's hard to justify paying $5,900 for a guy, but Elly De La Cruz in this game at Fenway, like I said, again, if it stays dry, the Reds are going to string some hits together here, score some runs. He'll be right in the heart of it. So, a home run, a couple RBI, a couple hits. Elly's your top scoring shortstop tonight. So I'm not saying he can put up a number that you're going to have, but if he scores 40, you're going to have it. So Elly's somebody you definitely want to – I don't know if I prioritize him at $5,900 when you've got a guy like Perdomo in Arizona. Not quite the upside, but similar floor, similar projection, $1,200 cheaper. You got Corey Seager in Texas, $4,000. So, yeah, actually, I think those are probably my three favorite guys at shortstop. We go Elly De La Cruz, Perdomo, and Corey Seager in Texas. If I'm looking at a fourth guy, and definitely on FanDuel, Jose Caballero in Tampa Bay. He's a guy that I think he's $2,200 on FanDuel. I would absolutely say he's in play too. It's just hard to pass up on Elly De La Cruz in this matchup. Let's look at our outfielders. You're not tuning in to find out that I think you should play Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, he's in play every night. So he is my favorite. Well, I'll say this: he's my top projected player tonight. Um, Jaron Duran, good price tag on DK, 4,500 again in that Cincinnati Boston game. There's just so much in that game, and if we get wet, it's gonna mess a lot of things up. If that game does postpone, if you get news that that game's gonna get rained out or be in any kind of significant delay, I would say the next best place to go for salary relief would be the Tampa Bay Rays. And they've got a good projection tonight, and that's a good favorable park conditions tonight there too. 85 degrees, 15-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. So again, when that park is windy, it's a noticeable difference on offense. So Duran, Red Sox outfield, I think he's probably outside of Otani or Acuna. He's probably my favorite outfield play tonight. Wilyer Abreu, speaking of wind at Fenway, I mean, it'll be blowing out again tonight. And we just saw last night what a windy Fenway can be when the ball gets over the center fielder's head in that triangle. You turn a base hit or a double into a inside the park home run. So Abreu's another guy. I'm not afraid to go right back to the well tonight. A lot just hinges on weather. I'd say Spencer Steer and Gavin Lux are guys I'd go to next, but also in that Cincinnati game. So, yeah, I mean, we can play Otani, we can play Acuna, obviously, but behind them, let's look at Duran, Wilyer Abreu, Gavin Lux, Spencer Steer. Yeah. See if I forgot anything here on FanDuel. I just had the DraftKings screen pulled up. I wish I could share this with you guys. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we'll get it together by the next show, hopefully. On FanDuel, I think at third base, Michael Garcia is in play. Jonathan India is in play. We mentioned them briefly on the DraftKings side. Yeah, I think that covers it. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's look at some weather here to make sure we're on top of that. Okay. Well, I mean, obviously we know the Mets and Brewers postponed. Let's see, Boston and Cincinnati. We got a pretty heavy line of storms moving in right around first pitch, maybe a little after. It shouldn't be around too long, but it's going to be soggy all night. Yeah, I honestly think this Red Sox Reds game is going to be postponed. And if it's not, then we're looking at probably heavy rain for about an hour and then soggy after that. A late start could easily turn into 10 p.m. Um, an on-time start, you're looking at could be a few innings before the rain picks back up again, and then they end up postponing anyway. So that's I'm going to say maybe stay away from Cincinnati and Boston. And we just literally loaded up our player pool with Red Sox and Reds. So yeah. So let's run through here real quick one time. And the Braves and Angels might be postponing too. Yeah, so this Atlanta Angels game, it looks better than the Red Sox game. I wouldn't play any pitchers from Braves or Angels, and I might stay away from the Red Sox and Reds altogether. If that's the case, then we've got just a brief rundown real quick so everybody has fresh information. With the new news that the Sox and Reds might postpone, let's just say top two catchers, Yandy Diaz, Will Smith, Dodgers in a good spot, Astros in Coors Field. Those are both very good plays. First base, I mean, Freeman, Pavin Smith. Yeah. And then yeah, Freddie Freeman, Pavin Smith, those are going to be my favorite first base options. Smith for that salary relief. Second base. And this is just going back through without any Red Sox or Reds, in case you want to play it that way. Second base, Altuve is just so expensive. That's crazy. 5,000 on DraftKings, but I think he's probably my favorite second baseman. Yandy Diaz, 4,500 in a good environment. I like that actually. I might like him more than Altuve, to be honest. And then, yeah, Brandon Lowe, maybe 4,700 down there. So Altuve, Diaz, excuse me, not Diaz. We're on second base. Altuve. All right, third base. Isaac Paredes. Yeah, I mean, that's probably where I'm going to go at third base. Michael Garcia, Kansas City, 4,400. That's another good play. And, you know, salary relief, we got Curtis Mead down here. I think that's a very good play, especially with the news that the Red Sox and Reds might postpone now. I'm thinking definitely migrate a lot of that over to the Tampa Bay Rays. You got Curtis Mead at 2,600. He's got second or third base eligibility too, so you got a little flexibility in the lineup there. Shortstop's going to be a little different. De La Cruz, I don't know if I'd roster him now for 5,900. The game might rain out, so I think my next favorite is going to be Geraldo Perdomo, San Francisco, Arizona Diamondbacks. Shortstop. We're projecting him for 9.5 points tonight. Pretty good upside as well. And then Corey Seager would be, those would be my two favorite. Perdomo and then Seager. If you can get enough salary relief, you can roll with Shohei Ohtani in the outfield. Of course, the issue there is now with the pitchers we were looking at. We were looking at Grant Holmes. I would stay away from. I know I told you he's one of my three favorite. You got to stay away from Grant Holmes in this Braves Angels game now. I wouldn't go there. Maybe Shane Batts in that Tampa Bay Rays game instead of Grant Holmes. I like that. Obviously, I like Matt Boyd. We talked about that already. Yeah, those actually. So I would say, look, Yamamoto's been good. He's gone. What I see earlier, he's gone at least 6 innings in like 7 of his last 10. He's got the K upside. I think he's probably the highest scoring pitcher on this slate. He's a little pricier than DeGrom, but if you're going to play DeGrom, you might as well play Yamamoto. If you're looking for some salary relief, I'm going down to Batts or Boyd, and I really like Boyd in this matchup. Just the Tampa pitcher scares me a little bit with those favorable hitting conditions. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are now. Stay off of Grant Holmes. Because I think the Braves will play. But what ends up happening, Grant Holmes goes out there for 2 innings. Now we got a delay for 2-3 hours. Holmes isn't coming back out. So you're going to get 6 outs and a couple of Ks if you're lucky from him. That's not going to work. So $9,700, that wouldn't go there. On DK, you got to play 2. Colton Gordon and Batts or Boyd. Those are going to be my guys on DK. All right, so let's do one more thing here before we sign off. We'll look at what our projections show for strikeouts. This might help y'all if you're building a lot of lineups and you're trying to get a pitcher pool together. So, and by the way, all these projections, and hopefully we'll be able to share them tomorrow, they're coming from ballparkpal.com, up to the minute projections. If you like to play props or sports books, they've got all the odds tabs and props here. Every book that you can think of in here, up to the minute data, spin rate, telemetry. I mean, just all sorts of stuff on here for you to nerd out on. So go get a subscription, ballparkpal.com. It'll be worth it, trust me. So let's see. We can cross Grant Holmes off the list because that game's probably not safe for pitching. But Yamamoto probably has the highest chance on the slate for 8Ks. DeGrom's a good bit behind him. And then Shane Batts. Like I said, I think maybe the park factor scares me a little bit in Tampa Bay. I don't want to go too high on a pitcher that 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing out of that tiny ballpark. So I would proceed with caution on Shane Batts, but he's got a pretty high K projection, and he's got the upside that he's got the upside to match Yamamoto if all goes well. So so Yamamoto, DeGrom, Batts, these are guys that look like the best chances to get a case on this slate. Let's see, hitters. Let's just see what these home run numbers look like. Ohtani, highest chance to hit a home run tonight. Eugenio Suarez down there, a good bit behind him. And then guys like Acuna, Olsen, Devers. Yeah. Again, it'd be a lot better if I could share the screen with you. I hope to do so tomorrow. And so where does our model show us is the best spot for offense tonight? The numbers were pretty large in the Red Sox Reds earlier. It's coming down a little bit with the threat of this weather. So, and there's been nothing official yet. I don't even think they've announced a delay, but it very well could. So just pay attention to that. The Reds have the highest probability of scoring 8+ runs. Got the Astros right behind them. Dodgers right there too. Reds, Astros, Dodgers, Rays. Yeah, those are, and then the Red Sox, of course, if it stays dry. So those are my favorite spots tonight. All right, so we got through this. Like I said, tomorrow Chris will be joining me. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll have a screen for you to look at. Looks a little something like that. Anyway, thanks for joining. Hopefully you got some good information out of this. Drop a comment here in the comment section if you have any ideas to improve the show. We're going to definitely fix our technical difficulties. Post your winning lineups. Any lineups, even if they don't win, post them in the comment section. Let me know if any of the plays we pointed out here helps you out. That's all I've got, you guys. Good luck. Hope to see you at the top of the leaderboards. And thanks for tuning in to 3 Up, 3 Down at Stadium Rant. Have a good night.